In the last month or so, the market is down, sideways, and rarely up. But my inventory is painting a very different picture. Because if we know where to look, what guns to look at, you can't really call it luck when it happens every single time.
And now for our Counter-Strike report. New York's very own Mike Water.
Welcome back to DE News China. I'm your host, Mike Water 9. If you watched this channel in the start of the year, this episode is going to be eerily similar. The big players are sitting aside currently. This is obviously because most of the platform, I imagine, is waiting for the imminent armory rotation. By Valve's precedent with graphic design, 3 weeks would mark next Wednesday as the day in which the armory is removed. However, since the landscape is much different this time, I think there is a very real possibility it does happen next Wednesday. The armory rotation happening this week prior was definitely realistic. There was definitely a chance. However, probably optimistic, especially with the release of cash and all of the bug fixes and problems, complaints that come with that. On a quick side note, let me guys know how you like cash. I've been playing cash on Twitch, trying to hit global elite. It's a very awesome map, my favorite map in CSGO history, I'm pretty sure. I played a fuck ton of it. I'm going to continue playing a fuck ton of it. So much fun, so refreshing. But regardless, like I said last week, the pullback and the giant decrease in market activity we saw over the last 2 weeks or so has kind of given us a blank slate, opening up all the previous plays that we've already seen and already experienced to be experienced again. And it's starting to manifest over the last few days or so. You remember these boys? The MP9 Setting Sun, the MP9 Hydra, the MP9 Dark Age, and the MP9 Stained Glass. Our 4 SMG friends here are a part of the top movers this week once again. If you don't remember or weren't here for that, all 4 of these went from, a normal SMG price factory new around $50 to $60. Some of them going up to over $1,000 in factory new. And most notably, all 4 of them dumped in around like a 12-hour time span. So if you weren't sitting at your computer or weren't paying attention explicitly to these guns, and you had one of these, you probably lost a lot of money here. But even back in January, I told you to stay away from these things. We knew the guy behind it, REU, was an influencer. Didn't have as much recognition as Win King, who is the, most prominent Chinese pump artist in the game. But I did on stream a few nights ago talk about the MP9 Hydra. This is an MP9 from the CS2's case, the only 0 to 1 in the classified rarity or pink tier. And when we talked about it on stream, it was sitting at around $55 on most marketplaces, which was the lowest price the MP9 had since the knife trade-up update, even going back to that summer, 2025. So obviously it was quite undervalued, right? 0 to 1 skins gained a whole lot of relative value since the knife trade-up update, and the fact that it was below that price point even then. The CS2's case has increased in price. The amount of 0 to 1 skins are in less supply from 6 months ago. I thought this was a pretty no-brainer play, and it has since increased around 60% since we spoke about it. The other MP9s are a little bit more speculative. The Setting Sun from the Cash collection obviously took advantage of the Cash map coming out a couple days ago, in which there was no Cash collection to accompany it. The Setting Sun, I wouldn't call it underpriced necessarily, so I'm not necessarily sold on the other 3 MP9s. However, the Hydra looks pretty decent. The MP9 Dark Age, which is from the Cobblestone collection, also tends to run a little bit weird because the one that gets most of the focus in terms of manipulation is the souvenir variant, which, as we know, doesn't really make too much sense. Souvenirs can't be used to trade up to. I imagine it's a supply thing, but then again, who is in the market for souvenir MP9 Dark Ages? It's just a very weird situation there. I would probably stay away from that one. If you have one, cool, sell it. I would definitely not even remotely think about moving into one of these. It just really doesn't make too much sense. The risk to reward is just not there. The Stained Glass as well is from the Canals collection, which is a discontinued collection, a very low supply discontinued collection. However, at its current price and the price action of these MP9s that we've experienced already in the past, I probably wouldn't go into most of these. The Hydra I would have a couple days ago. At this price currently, I probably won't. And the reason is twofold, right? We saw how quickly these MP9s dumped when they did dump in around January or February of this year. And on top of this, the people that were dumped on, the people who have these MP9s in their inventories, are waiting desperately for a price level in which they can get out with reasonable losses or break even or a little bit higher than what they purchased at. If there's a lot of inventories with all of these things, and if these people are eagerly waiting for the price to go up just so they can get rid of it, you're going to see more dumps happen more often than not than previously, and they're going to happen at lower price levels than it did before. You're not going to hit that $600 mark when there's people who bought in at 120, have 20 of them, and are just waiting desperately to sell at 130, 140. It's going to be much harder to reach those previous price levels, so I'd probably just stay away. But keep a watchful eye on it, and keep a watchful eye on the things within those collections as those benefit from the MP9 going up independently. For example, the CS20 case. The CS20 case is gaining a relative amount of attention compared to what it did previously and what it is doing now compared to other cases. One example, top mover being the FAMAS Decommissioned, which is a blue FAMAS 0-1 within the CS20 case. And you might be thinking, okay, this is the only case with the classic knife. Are they trying to kind of focus on this case, maybe see what they can do in terms of manipulating the classic knife price? I don't think that's the case, no pun intended, although it would probably benefit from them manipulating the CS20 case. I believe that this case just received little to no attention back when China was pumping things in the previous year, so a lot of the fillers, a lot of the blues, purples, and pinks were relatively underpriced, so now they're just taking advantage of the low market price, low market sentiment, focusing on a new case entirely, the CS20 case. And of course, the reds, the knives, they'll all benefit from an increased case price, from an increased drop pool price, but I don't think it's necessarily pumping the knives as the end. I just think that's going to be like an externality of what they're actually going for here. The rest of the top movers this week, and there is quite a few, tend to focus on discontinued collections, which is something we've seen over the last few weeks or so. The only one I'll make a note of that isn't a part of a discontinued collection is the AWP Capillary. I believe I also spoke about this one on stream or a members video. It has a 0.05 to 0.8 float cap, I believe, which obviously makes it rare in factory new, similar to the AUG Momentum I spoke about in a previous video. And because it starts at 0.05, it means that some of the minimal wear skins, I believe to around 0.10 or so, are going to be eligible to trade up into factory new skins, making it relatively underpriced if you can find some minimal wear ones underneath that float threshold. It seems to have been figured out. Factory new is the top mover of the last 3 days or so, are up around 30 to 40%. But as I said, you can get the same use case from a minimal wear one if you look closely and look quickly. That is the only one from a case, however, the other ones are all from discontinued collections. Some notable ones that we've seen before. The Ancient collection continues to have a disproportionate amount of attention dedicated to it, right? The Galil Dusk Ruins is back in the top movers. As we know, that one went to around $350 from around $30 in a very short time span, maybe a month and a half. It sits at around $180. I believe it was around $100 at its low after that pump, but it has since gone up, which is a very nice gain if you bought at that bottom. The All Carved Jade continues to just be a juggernaut. It has steadily increased even throughout the last month in which the market continually and steadily declined. And one newer one from the Ancient collection that I haven't seen actually be a top mover as of up until this point is the Mac 10 Gold Brick. Also a very awesome play skin if you've never seen that one in game. I have one of those just as a play skin. Super sick skin, has seen relative fantastic gains in terms of percentage points, and that Ancient collection looks oh so good once again. The next one is a singular gun. It's from the Chop Shop collection, the USP Peregrine. Now, upon first glance, this gun has so much potential as a play skin, it just gets scratched way too easily. But it does have the lowest float cap in the industrial rarity tier, or light blue, and it trades up to the P250 whiteout, making it one of the easier fillers to find actual fillers for the P250 whiteout. As we know, whiteout's 0.06 to 0.8 for the P250, but it's not as demanded as the Tech 9 or the USP whiteout because the P250 fucking sucks. But as time goes on, the collection hasn't been dropped in around 10 years at this point. So the amount of USPs, the amount of light blues within that entire collection is going to become more scarce as the days go on. So having one of these in your inventory is not only a good hold in terms of China pumping it because they love to do it. They've done it around 3 to 4 times already for this specific USP. But as scarcity increases, people are going to want to do these trade-ups and they're not going to have the actual supply to do so. So if you can find a few, 0.01, 0.02, the lower the better. That's going to be a very good play long term if you don't want to watch your inventory every day, day in, day out. Lastly, the Train 2021 collection. I've harped on this one before. This is one of China's favorite collections. They say it themselves. M4 Coalition, Glock Gamma Doppler, USP Whiteout. This is another fantastic collection that gets so much attention from China, and they constantly pump the purples, blues, pinks. Doesn't really matter which rarity tier. I spoke about the Desert Eagle Sputnik a few weeks ago. It was around $9 to $10. It didn't move right away, but it has since climbed pretty steadily, around 25% in the last 12 hours or so. So if you purchased on that video's call, you should be up around 50% right now, which is very good considering the last month has been pretty devastating for most people in their inventories. Sorry, most stupid people in their inventories. The biggest winner from the train collection right now is the P2000 Space Race, which is up around 20% to around $75 right now. Right, there are more people using the P2000 since that ammo update, and thus it has opened up the floodgates for China to start taking advantage of pricing. Pistols in general always do well. Tech 9s are always in there. The 5.7 has seen a disproportionate amount of odd activity surrounding them, with a couple of 5.7s, weird ones, the anodized gunmetal, the case hardened, the Nightshade, and the Revolution seeing pretty large increases in price, all within the top movers, all right next to each other, oddly. So another gun to keep your eye out for a little bit, even though these ones have already been heavily manipulated. And all of this movement, this is happening while the biggest money on the platform isn't even playing the game yet, right? We're waiting for the money to come back in from these big players, which eventually will happen, and I believe that'll happen when the army rotation occurs. But it may be starting right now. Because we have CS Float's database back, we can actually look at some of these inventories accumulating right now, see what they're accumulating specifically within the armory, and also in parallel see what else they're accumulating in their inventories or have in their holdings that they've purchased a while ago. But first, a quick word from our sponsor today, skins.com. Skins.com is the newest sponsor on our channel. They have just released a P2P trading platform looking to compete with the best players in the space. If you don't want to wait that long, they do have an insta-sell feature on the site in which the rates are the best I've seen, just straight up. When the market is down, everything is on sale. And with the deals you're getting on skins.com, you could start your position basically up 20 to 25%. Try out skins.com and be a part of the future of CS2 skin trading. I will have a code soon, so stay tuned for that. Now, back to those whales. Let's take a look at those inventories, baby. Now, obviously, we can't look at stickers and sticker accumulation on CS Float explicitly because we can only see applications. We cannot see just people holding stickers. But if you do enough digging and you look at people who are investing into the armory, odds are they'll have some stickers in their inventories, so you can kind of see what's trending, what's not trending, what people are interested in, what people are investing in. The focus seems to be on the pinks and purples within train and sport and field. The hellish in factory new, despite its relatively low supply in factory new, is seeing quite a bit of manipulation in terms of accumulation right now. And while we haven't seen gigantic increases in price yet, the way in which they're accumulating these skins is going to happen sooner rather than later. This one account I found right here has a ton of M4 Hellishes, around, I believe, 10 to 12, so that's around $4,000 in Hellishes alone. And they also just have a ton of M4 A4s, as the gun is becoming more popular and pretty much exclusively used in professional play. One interesting one that he has a ton of is the Edgelord from the Kilowatt case. I don't believe that to be a short-term play, but rather a much longer-term play, as the Kilowatt case is still actively dropped, and I don't believe China would dare move into an actively dropped case to pump a specific M4, but I do think, you know, once that does get discontinued, if you purchase right now and you can afford to hold a year plus, that'll probably be a very decent play long term, very long term. Second profile, more Hellishes, same thing here. His other biggest position is the AK-47 Steel Delta, factory new. Right, the Anubis collection has seen a ton of attention lately. At this point, I probably wouldn't realistically move a ton of money into it because that's already kind of priced in. I would wait for a little bit of a pullback because it probably will happen. The Anubis collection did move up quite a bit while the market was moving downwards, so it's relatively pretty extremely high right now. If anything, you should be selling Anubis skins, not moving into them. Profiles 3 and 4 focus on the Glock Axia and Galil Rainbow Spoon. The Galil Rainbow Spoon seems to me like the most probable Chinese manipulation play because they do love Galils and FAMASs for whatever reason. I don't even know if they like those skins. I just think they can take control of those ones much easier, and people still demand Galil and FAMAS skins. Not as much as AK and M4s, obviously, but it's probably like your second tier of play skins that you buy, right? AWP, AK-M4, tier 1, then Glock, USP, Galil, FAMAS, tier 2. That's what I imagine in my head the order hierarchy being. But I'm still sticking with what China said a few months ago. They talked about the Glock Axia. Obviously, the landscape has changed quite a bit, but I don't think it would hurt holding a factory new Glock Axia. Obviously, the timeline is going to be much, much longer here because there is such a large supply and such a negative sentiment surrounding sport and field. However, I mean, can you really argue with time going on and this sport and field staying discontinued? The reason it was oversupplied in the first place is because people like it. I ain't calling it Paris. It's not even close to Paris, to be honest. Calling it the Paris of skin collections is crazy. That's fracture. We already know that. So while I do think it'll take a long time to reach increased prices once again, I believe the case was popular for a reason and it will still be fine long term. And the shit isn't even discontinued yet. The market was in pandemonium and these things were up or break even, which is fine. The dust is starting to settle. The pinks and purples look to be the strongest rarity tiers within the armory long term. So it's looking up for us. Fear not. As for the watch list this week, I'm going to look more in depth on the watch list on Twitch on a live stream tonight, because there is just a ton of plays available. A lot of shit is down from where it was. But if you want some just general skins, I would say, like, as I said before, FAMAS, Galil, MP7, MP9. The Deagle Sputnik might be a decent purchase here. However, I would look for other blues within the collection that haven't seen a stark price movement yet, as they'll probably follow, or some of the purples within Train 2021. They absolutely love that collection. The Tech 9 safety net is already ran up. Maybe that M4 if it's a little bit underpriced. The Scout, R8 Blaze I would probably stay away from because it's a super low float cap. If you do know what you're doing though, 0.0056 or under is going to be your threshold there. What's the other one? The AUG Amber Fade. Embarrassingly, that just came all off the dome, baby. Proud of me. But yeah, we'll take a look more in depth on Twitch, because there's a ton of plays everywhere right now, and I think we need to look at some inventories before we can make some relatively educated guesses surrounding what would be next. But yeah, train those specific guns, maybe ancient still, but I'm not completely sure there. Anything else that I missed today that you're wondering why I didn't talk about it? I'll talk about it on Sunday in the general DE news. So with that being said, peace.